Hi, my name is Adrian Bartos. I'm professionally known as Stretch Armstrong. I'm a DJ in New York City. I've got an extensive past on the radio doing nightclubs since the early 90s, and I'm a native New Yorker. Yeah, I've been in music since the late 80s, first as a just diehard music fan, and then I became a DJ in around 1989, started DJing in nightclubs. In 1990, I also had the good fortune of getting a radio slot on Columbia University's WKCR, which is also the first FM station on planet Earth, and started a radio show there, which became kind of like a cult must-listen-to station for all the 90s hip-hop artists that were emerging from New York City in the 90s, like Jay-Z and Nas and Wu-Tang Clan and Busta Rhymes and Mobb Deep and Big L and Biggie Smalls. The list goes on. They all kind of came through my radio show before anybody else got a chance to hear them. I met Adam when an ex of mine was battling the president of her co-op board in a small co-op midtown off Fifth Avenue. The president was a very famous comedian who was treating the co-op like it was her own private fiefdom, and my ex had issue with that and brought Adam in to kind of shake things up, and I think they were largely successful, and we got along really well. Less than 2 years ago, I owned a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, and we found out just before renovating that brownstone that there was an off-market brownstone across the street that was wider on the sunnier side. On a whim, went to check it out. It was off-market. It turns out I knew the broker for the estate that was selling it, and I put an offer in, and it was accepted. This was in the middle of the pandemic, kind of on the verge of Thanksgiving and cold weather, and we knew that to successfully purchase the property across the street without making it too complicated, we should sell our place as quickly as possible without being greedy. So we found a buyer, on consecutive days signed a contract to sell and a contract to buy. We found out about 3 weeks later, when we didn't have a returned signed contract for the purchase across the street, that the woman that was she was actually the daughter of the deceased owners of the property. She had agreed to sell us the property. She passed away before she could sign the contract. And then this sent the whole process into kind of a spiral of pain, agony, and anxiety. I wasn't protected by my attorney. He neglected to put a contingency clause in. So I was getting pressure from the buyers of my place to let them see the property with an appraiser so they can complete their financing. My wife was 7 months pregnant, and kind of emotionally, we didn't really want to go anywhere. We had a home birth planned. And even beyond that, we didn't want to leave if we knew that we did not have the property across the street. And that's when I called Adam to see what our options were, to see if we could get out of the contract to sell, and to see what it would take to complete the purchase across the street. So the first thing that Adam asked me is, what do you guys want to do? And I said, well, ideally, we'd like to get out of the contract to sell, find another buyer, because we don't know when we'll be able to complete the purchase across the street, or even if we will be able to. All bets were off across the street. Are we going to be able to buy this property or not? We have no idea. And of course, it's across the street from us, so we're seeing it all the time. It's this constant reminder of a real estate transaction that went south very quickly. Basically, Adam said, I could keep you in your home probably for as long as you want to. It's just a matter of how much pain you want to feel financially. He said he couldn't predict what it would cost us, but he said if it got to the point where there'd be litigation, obviously the bills are going to start to really stack up. And I said, well, let's just kick the can. What's the metaphor? Anyway, let's just move ahead and kind of shut the whole process down, however way you feel is the best way to do that. And basically that's what happened. Through his guidance, we ended up staying in the property for probably a year and a half, and at the end of it, we actually were able to purchase the property across the street. We were able to stay home, complete the purchase across the street, and we ended up getting what we wanted. We got it done, and we feel really good about it. Talking to Adam, well, first of all, his availability is great. He's accessible, and he's just really friendly and fun, and he's a straight shooter and great communicator. And through the whole process, pretty much everything that Adam said would happen is what happened. And so you feel like I was taken care of, felt protected and in good hands. Listen, I've got no complaints about the firm or Adam whatsoever.